Good morning and happy Monday, everybody. Happy Martin Luther King Day. It is an honor for you to be joining in and listening. Thank you to all those gays, theys, LGBTs out there who are tuning into the Wave Your Flag podcast, season 2. We have a very special guest today, Ruthenia, who also runs their own business, Yule Made. Yule, Yule, period, made on Instagram. Follow, and you can see their drag and support their art. So we will be getting to the interview first, and then Megan, my co-host, and I will be discussing some hot topics that you won't want to miss. So thank you, everybody, and enjoy the episode. So when did you first start doing drag?
I started being aware of drag last spring because I've been friends for a long time with the person that performs as Forrest Fleur, who you might know. She started in the Albany scene and is now at school in Rhode Island. So I had been following along with like their drag online for a few years. But it was last spring that they actually commissioned a costume from me. And as we were working on that costume, they invited me to a number of their shows. And pretty much as soon as I went to two different drag shows that I went to, I was like, oh my God, this is what I have to do. And I just felt like drag as an art form is kind of a culmination of like so many different interests that I've had that
Mm.
I felt like I had to start. And so it was in around April of last year that I kind of had the concept of Ruthenia as a character, and I was doing like a lot of like bedroom drag and like occasionally going out in the spring and summer. But then my performance debut was in late August of last year. So depends on when you want to count that. But personally, I feel like the beginning of my drag journey was last year in April.
And following up on your when you started doing drag, when did you start doing your art business and working to make art and
So
commissions as
I've been,
well?
yeah, I would say I've been making art my whole life. And I focus my art on a lot of textile and, oh my God, words. I'm gonna start, wait, because I have my notes and I want to go back and look at them. Hold
Yeah,
on.
no worries.
No, I want to ask real quick. So you said to Brendan's first question that you're like, "Oh, I'm just a baby, just got into it." But how old are you?
I will be 26 next month.
Okay, I was
So
okay. But you're still young. Like that's still not like I get saying like a little bit later, but like that's still like young to be I don't know. I feel it's still like, you're not like 30 and being like, "Oh, I just tried drag for the first time."
yeah, I feel kind of older than a lot of my peers, like my
Yeah.
peers being other drag babies, because a lot
Hmm.
of them are like 19,
Yeah.
22,
Yeah.
And so I feel, and also like a lot of people like were watching drag TV shows like as
Yeah.
teenagers,
Yeah.
but I never started watching any drag on TV until after I got into local drag.
Oh,
So I'm kind
100%.
of like backwards from a lot of people
Yeah.
in that way. Um, but yeah, I wasn't exposed really to drag at all until I was 25, which I
Yeah.
feel like I do kind of feel like a latecomer a little bit because of
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, that's totally valid. I mean, as someone like Drag Race, for instance, started like I think my last year of high school. So really wasn't outlets at the time for people, you know what I mean, for teenagers to even get into drag. So I hear 25, I'm like, oh, that's still, you know what
Yeah.
I mean, there were some people obviously, but like it wasn't as anywhere near mainstream as it is now, I'd say. Sorry.
Um, okay, so I'm gonna start fresh answering the question, when did I start making art and start my business? I've been obviously like making art my whole life. It was in around 2020 that people started asking me for commissions. And actually, back then, a lot of the stuff that I was doing as commissions wasn't even so much like my art as it was historical reproductions. Because I also have a background in living history and historical reenactment. So back during 2020, I was doing a lot of like sewing and knitting of specific like reproduction clothing items for my colleagues in that field. And then eventually I was doing a lot of commissions like through my friend's business. And then around 2023, I was like, I really want to have my own business to do this through so that I have more control over it. And I also wanted to like dip my toes more into like making stuff that wasn't a historical recreation and like just making whatever I wanted. And so it was in January 2023 that I started like my business Instagram, and started going to markets that year as well. But it wasn't until last fall that I finally got like all the paperwork in order and became like official.
Yeah.
So it's been a few years, but also no, it hasn't. To I
See, so I had this sort of ties into a question I had been wanting to ask you. From what I have seen of your Instagram, like your drag persona is so defined, and I love that. I love nothing more in this world than when a drag artist knows exactly who they are, what they're doing, what they've come to share with the world. And even hearing you just talk about the historical costume and stuff, it seems like you really know who you are. Has that been a difficult journey at all? Or has that been like, I love a niche interest. I love history, and I'm obsessed right now.
think that creating a very specific persona is actually one of the easiest things in like
Mm,
my drag journey.
wow.
And the reason that I started to like want to get into drag was because I had this concept of a character and I didn't
Yeah.
really know what to do with her. And
Oh,
so, yeah, I
so
think
she's been with you.
I, yes, absolutely. I think that I started doing drag because I felt like I had to, because like
Yeah.
she's in there, you know?
She said,
Um,
I'm ready to be born.
yeah. I
Let me
also
out.
think that the challenge of having that like specific defined character, the way that that's been challenging is like knowing to what extent I can tie that in with what I'm already doing, because
Yeah.
my business Instagram was born as like I'm going to post clothing I make, I'm going to post dolls that I have for sale.
Mm,
So when I started like being Ruthenia also, I
yeah.
was like, are people going to like leave? Are people not going to like, people aren't here for this.
Yeah. Oh,
But
yeah.
I've had so much growth from posting my drag also.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
sometimes I wonder like, because at a drag show, like everyone will be going through and saying like their social media, and I'm always like, well, I don't have a drag social media because it's all one thing. But I like to think that the aesthetic kind of ties it all together.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
I hope it does. I hope that the brand
Yeah.
is that the brand is there throughout.
And that can be so hard, letting yourself be vulnerable. Like you have this sort of business facing persona already, and then being like, well, here's this super artistic, creative, you know what I mean? That your business is already creative, but it's such an inherent part of you, a drag identity is, or can
Yeah.
be for some people, that,
Yeah.
um, so about a little bit more of your drag identity. Can you tell us a little bit about your name? I think it's beautiful. Who
So
is Ruthenia?
Ruthenia is the name of a historic region of Eastern Europe. So it falls it's kind of like a vague region. There's not like
Yeah.
borders to it. But it falls within like modern day Western Ukraine and Eastern Poland and like maybe Slovakia, but
My people.
it it's quite nebulous, the boundaries of Ruthenia.
That's so
But the term was predominantly used like to reference like an ethnic group of people that
okay.
typically like they spoke Ukrainian, but they weren't
Mhm.
Orthodox, they were Catholic. So
Mm.
there's this kind of like melting pot aspect of like they're not like quite Ukrainian, they're not quite Polish. It's this
Yeah.
sort of unique region. Um, but also the term has also just been used as another term for Ukrainian. It
Mm-hmm.
varies.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but I knew that back in like March and April, I knew that I wanted to be an Eastern European peasant girl.
Yeah. Yeah, felt.
I knew that I was wanting to explore like the folk dress from that
Mm.
region.
Mm-hmm.
And I also knew the extremely complex and violent history of all of the ethnic groups in that region, killing each other, doing ethnic cleansing, getting colonized by Russia, by Germany, and by Austria, etc. And so I specifically wanted to pick a name that wasn't just like from one language because I have
Yeah.
ancestors that are both Polish and Ukrainian, and I wanted to like tie that together. And
Yeah.
so when I thought of Ruthenia, first of all, it's not typically a person's name, it's a place name. So I knew that I would be like unique in that way. Like it's not usually a person's name, but it sounds
Yeah.
like a person's name.
Yeah, it
And
does. It does. It really works.
yeah, and I as soon as I heard it, well, I had heard it before, but as soon as I kind of viewed it as a possible drag name, I knew that it was the one. And I
Yeah.
immediately went and like
Yeah.
filled a page in my sketchbook of just like writing it over and over.
I love that. Oh my God, I love that. So my mother's father, entire family was from Czechoslovakia. We don't know if it was the Czech side, the Slovak side, because of just the area. Like you, we're just talking about the history of it's things get muddled real quick
Yeah.
over there. Um, do you want to talk a little bit more about your culture and how that, like, I know from my end of things that I've just, for years, I've tried working with genealogy stuff, figuring, I'm like, I can get as far into my great grandparents, and then I'm just like, oh, baby, we don't, my grandfather was told to not speak that language in the house anymore to become super Americanized. Like, what's your family's experience been? Or
So,
has your family had that? Or, you could just say, actually, I'm Irish as fuck, and this is just all for shits and gigs.
so, so first of all, disclaimer, I am half French Canadian on my dad's side. And on my
Love that.
mom's side, I am also Irish as fuck. However, we are also Polish and Ukrainian. My
Yeah.
mom is both Irish and Polish. She was
Mhm.
always just raised being told that she was Irish and Polish. And my Grammy, which is my great grandmother on my mom's side, she was the one that was Polish. She was born here in the US, but she was raised like speaking Polish with her siblings.
Mhm.
She like she was an amazing cook, so she would always like make Polish food for Christmas and Easter and everything. And it was through um I want to say like mostly through the food that as a kid I identified like with being Polish because like Grammy would sing like a few like little songs in Polish, but like other than that, the
Yeah.
culture was like pretty much lost. It was like pretty assimilated into like American like working class Catholic culture, I would
Yeah.
say, for my parents' generation.
Yeah.
But when I was in high school, I began to be close friends with my friend Grace, who now makes theater in Brooklyn, etc. But at the time, we were working on writing a play together about Polish history because Grace is also like very Polish and her family was a bit less assimilated than mine. And so like Grace knew so much more like Polish culture and Polish traditions. And I started to get very interested in that. And we ended up writing a play together about the 1944 Warsaw Uprising. And this play,
Wow.
yeah, yeah. So this play, we first put it on in the spring of 2018 in Saratoga.
Yeah.
And then eventually some old Polish people from Buffalo saw it and they were like, you should do this play in Buffalo. And we were like, okay. So then we got to go on a little tour to Buffalo. We did the play in Buffalo. And then we got to do the
So
play one more
cool.
time in Glens Falls. And this was all in 2018. But I think that was like the beginning of my like interest in Polish history. And
Mhm.
through that experience, I also got really interested in genealogy.
Mhm.
And I started becoming very obsessed with my genealogy and like going through like all these records in like foreign languages and like getting like super into it because autism, obviously.
Yeah.
Um, but but eventually I found out that my ancestors actually didn't come from modern Poland, they came from Ukraine. And I was really confused by that because I was like,
Yeah.
okay, Grammy speaks Polish, she's Catholic, what's going on here?
Yeah.
And eventually, through many years of research, I discovered that many of my ancestors were like ethnically Polish
Yeah.
living in what is now Ukraine.
Yep.
But I also have my third great grandfather was ethnically Ukrainian and he assimilated into the Polish family that he married into.
That.
And so, and I only confirmed that about a year ago when I
Yeah.
discovered that he actually immigrated and he's buried in a Ukrainian cemetery. And so I've been to visit his
Wow.
grave. Yeah, sorry, I'm just like fully
No,
like
I'm loving this. This is
genealogy.
excellent. I
Yeah, there's a Ukrainian cemetery. It's
yeah.
a Ukrainian Catholic cemetery,
Mhm.
which is associated with like that Ruthenian ethnic group because
Yeah.
they're Catholic, but they follow the Byzantine rite. So if you're like so like
Interesting.
church nerds will know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
There's Latin Rite Catholics, which are like most Catholics. There's also Byzantine Rite Catholics who are in full communion with the Pope, but they do all the Orthodox stuff. So they
Yeah.
cross themselves backwards and all of that.
Mhm.
Very interesting. And so, yeah, I wanted to like really delve into that with Ruthenia because
Yeah.
I think it's something that's not really seen in the drag world. I mean, there's a lot of
Right.
performers that are like, I'm Russian, you know, but like,
Yeah.
I'm not Russian. I'm
Right.
Ruthenian.
Exactly. Exactly. And it's such
Mhm.
a complex history, right? That like we barely scratched the surface just talking back for even like I can talk about my grandparents, my great grandparents, that like some information I found on them was like, oh, it was a member of the Lithuanian church. I go, we're fucking Lithuanian? Like I don't
And I
there's
think we see a lot of this culture show in your outfits that you post. And I was wondering if you actually make your outfits yourself, because I know you knit and sew. So I was wondering if these are your own creations.
Yes. Ruthenia does wear a few items that she did not make herself. But the majority of like any outfit that I'm wearing, the majority of it will be stuff that I made. And I actually view it kind of as a capsule wardrobe. So it's pretty rare that I will make like a full costume. The exception to that is I did a Hornet cosplay from Silksong, the video game. You might have seen. I kind of post about it obsessively because I think it's really fun. So that is like a full outfit that I made, but normally I will make like individual pieces and then we have a lot of like mix and matching between those.
Mhm.
And most of the garments that I wear as Ruthenia, they either like the silhouettes are inspired by folk dress from Eastern Europe, but they also I like to incorporate like modern materials, upcycling.
Hmm.
Um,
Yep.
I'm not trying to be like historically accurate with it
Right.
because
Yeah.
Where's
my
the fun
drag
in that?
is like a exactly. I mean, I have also a vast background of making historical
But,
reproductions and like
yeah. But like for a
a
drag
Yeah.
lot of fun
persona, right?
yeah,
Like,
but I also think like it's a conscious choice that Ruthenia is not historically accurate
mhm.
because she is a fantasy of what this region could have been or could be if there wasn't so much lateral violence and hatred among all of these different groups. So
Yeah.
I'm mix and matching different cultures. That's on purpose. It's not careless. It's
Adding like
a
a,
question.
yeah,
It's like, because when you
Yeah, like what
understand,
would it be like got
kind of
along? Yeah,
adding like a folklore element to it,
yeah.
absolutely.
essentially.
And when you like understand the history of that region for hundreds of years, they didn't have these defined countries. Like we are, I'm sure our ancestors mingled across the way at some point. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? That it wasn't these strict borders that identified you so clearly, I would say. Because even you were talking about the food earlier. You guys Holupki people, stuffed cabbage?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, nut bread, like the
So
nut
we
poppy
call it
bread.
Yule.
What?
Actually, we don't do that bread. Although I'm sure Polish people and Ukrainian people
There's
do it. We just don't do it in my family.
got you. Yeah, 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 yeah. And so that was for me when I was a kid. I'm like, I would take all of the stuffing out of the stuffed cabbage and just eat the cabbage. But I, but
That's
I know
crazy.
exactly what you mean when you're. That's how you can connect to it as an American. That's removed so many generations, and I think that's really incredible that you're doing it through this drag persona as well. Yeah.
Yeah. I also, can I say one more thing about that? I really
Yes.
want to challenge, I want to challenge this idea um, that like being Eastern European or being Polish or Ukrainian means that you're part of like a homophobic culture. Because
Mm-hmm.
like, yes, politically, particularly in Poland, there is like a lot of backlash to queer liberation.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but part of what I want to do with my drag is show that like queer people have always existed within these cultures. And in order to like embrace liberation and progress doesn't mean that you have to abandon where you came from.
Wow, that was beautifully said. That was
Thank you.
great. And
Mic
that
drop.
really fits with, I feel like, our theme of the season, right, Brendan? Like, sort of it's reclaiming
Yeah.
our identities or reclaiming titles. And that's such a reclamation of the Eastern European identity. That's incredible.
I mean, like, even in the drag community, like, there's been a definition and a concept of drag, like a conventional um image of what drag should be. But there's not really an inherently set rule for what drag is. I mean, that's what makes it drag is there's no set rules. But have you dealt with people that have had kind of a closed mindset when it comes to drag? Since I know that they might view like the label as drag clown as more unconventional drag. Have you ever dealt with people who view it as, well, that's not drag or drag is supposed to be this, and how do you use that to empower what you're doing?
Is that how you self-identify? Is that you define your drag as drag clown?
I would say that being a clown is like one of the things that I am, but it's not like the only
Yeah.
thing. I would say I'm a clown, but I'm also a peasant girl, but I'm also like but I'm like a goth clown. I'm like a
Okay.
gothic
Yeah.
clown, but I'm also a peasant girl.
Yeah.
um
I love that.
and to thank you. To answer your question, I if I have encountered people that are judgmental towards me, they have kept that to
Yeah.
themselves. I I have not like been accosted with any
Hmm.
of that. So I just don't worry about it. Like
Yeah.
if someone has a problem, they can come and talk to me. Nobody has. I don't know. I think that I just feel like if somebody wants to have a closed mind about what drag is, like that's their loss. And like we're out here doing whatever we want. And I would say come to a show. If you don't think this is drag, come to a show. See if it's drag.
Mhm.
I don't know.
Especially,
Yeah.
Like not to be like, but I
yeah.
really don't really care if people think what I'm doing is drag. Like you don't have to
Yeah.
call it drag. You can say I'm doing whatever, you know?
Performance art, which is what drag is.
No,
So,
Megan, I think you have a question that could go off of this one.
but as I had something in my hold on, we were just um having a neurodivergent brain is so much fun sometimes. It
Yeah.
really we so what can we expect from a Ruthenia performance? Am I saying that correctly? Ruthenia? Ruthenia?
Ruthenia. Yeah, I mean that's how I say it.
Yeah.
Um, what can you expect? Um, peasant girl antics,
Yeah.
uh, handmade costumes, gothic clown makeup. Um, probably usually okay, for music it's usually like some kind of like obscure music or it will be like Bo Burnham. I do have a Bo Burnham burlesque number.
Yeah, say that time 10 times fast. Bobo.
It's like I don't know. I'm always trying to be like hot, funny, and, and a peasant girl and a
Yeah,
clown. I
of
don't know.
course, of
I,
course.
I don't know.
The people contain
Yeah,
multitudes, and so should our drag personas.
exactly.
Like,
Yeah.
um, oh, I feel like it's gonna come back to me. There was something before that I was like, oh, and then brains being brains.
So you host a clown trivia in Troy. Can you share some details of what people can expect if they were to go to one of these events? I know by the time this episode comes out, your event tonight will have already passed, but what can
No,
people no?
no, no, it's on Tuesday. It's
Oh, Tuesday,
tomorrow.
Tuesday.
It's
Okay,
on Tuesday.
Tuesday,
So everybody
y'all.
who
I don't know
listens to
why I
this,
thought
you
today
can
was
go
the
to this
20th.
tomorrow. Yeah, you can go to Clown Trivia tomorrow. Every month we will have a different theme. Myself and my co-host Jubilizzle the Clown, we actually write all of the questions from scratch. There will always be at least 36 questions. Sometimes we have even more than that. We will never ever use AI to write the questions. Just pure autism. And we will always have one round, or maybe more than one, but we'll usually have at least one round that's like a silly round. We call that the clown round, but you don't know like which round it's gonna be. So, as an example of that, at our first one, it was autumnal themed, and we usually have an audio round. So we'll play like audio clips, and then you have to like do something based on that. And so the clown round for that trivia was autumnal bird calls. And so we played six bird calls, and you had to identify what kind of bird made the sound. So we're going through the answers. Number one, that was a turkey. Number two, that was a North American turkey. Number three, that was a wild turkey. Number four, the juvenile North American turkey. And they were all just like different turkey sounds, and it was diabolical. So that's what makes it clown trivia. It's not trivia about clowns. We just pull shit like that.
Yeah. I was about to ask, I was like, clown trivia, do I have to know a lot about clowns to come? But no, that
No, no.
it's
Um,
trivia for the clowns.
Yeah, it's trivia by clowns for
For clowns, yes.
clowns. And the winning team will win a free drink. Well, each of the people on the team wins a free drink. You don't have to share one drink. Um,
Oh,
uh,
gosh.
you can also submit topics for future themes for us to consider.
Mhm.
And what else? Yeah, that's clown trivia. I would say if you want to come tomorrow, definitely try to get there like close to 6. We start at 6:30, but like it will fill up.
Where does this
And
take place? I don't know if we mentioned.
that is at Lucas Confectionery in Troy.
Yes.
And yeah, we hope to see everyone there.
Yeah, I
And
love Troy.
this month's theme is food trivia. So we have some,
Ooh,
yeah, we have some like food geography. We have songs that reference food, New York State food history,
love that.
spices.
Love that.
Yes. Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun.
And what time? Sorry,
It,
I'm
we
like just like
we start at
sorry, start over.
6:30. You should get there at 6 in order to make sure you get a table and order whatever you want.
That
All
is
sorts of
a
things. Yeah.
beautifully reasonable time for a Tuesday night. Good on you. Good on
Yeah.
you. Because in my
I
head
will
I
say
was going, too late. Can't even fathom
no.
it. 6 o'clock, that's manageable in this life.
I would say my clown trivia is very it is very structurally inspired by the nine pin trivia with typhoid,
Mhm.
because that also starts at 6:30. And me and Jubilizel, my clown co-host, we have been going to the nine pin trivia for all year.
Yeah. Yeah.
And eventually we were like, okay, we want to do our own now. So we kind of low key copied the time because we love like an event that starts at a reasonable time.
Yeah, it's
So yeah.
so the older I get, there's just nothing more in this life that I real like friends and I will marvel at a 6 p.m. showtime. Oh, curtains up at 6:30. Okay, that sounds like I'll put it in the calendar.
So when you're selling stuff at markets, what markets do you go to? Where can people like find your business in person? What do you sell in
Ooh.
particular? Like what type of stuff can they expect to see and purchase?
So a lot of my work, I will say, like apart from markets, a lot of my work is commissions. I will take commissions for mending and also for like
Mhm.
making predominantly like costumes and clothing, but also like whatever you want. I'm available. I love a challenge. But I do vend also at markets. I my first market ever was the first big gay market ever in 2023. And so it's been really fun to like kind of grow alongside the big gay markets as they've like expanded. So I think I would say that's my primary markets that I go to. Um, in February, I will be doing the Kinky Big Gay Market on February 13th in Troy. And in March, I will be doing the Troy Big Gay Market pop up, which is at Mount Ida. And so, yeah, I love the big game markets. They are great. But I've also vended at No Fun, Cafe Euphoria, Circus in the Park. And then I have also vended out of state a couple of times last summer, which was really cool. I got to go. So, one of my friends in Vermont is one of the organizers of the Vermont Queer Arts Festival.
Love
So, shout
that.
out to the Vermont Queer Arts Festival. It was so cool. It was like a bunch of like gay people in a field with like tents. I got to vend out of a wagon. So I was like pulling a little wagon around. It was awesome.
Love that. Where
Um,
in the state was it?
so it was in Barrie, Vermont, which is kind of like central north-ish
Okay,
Vermont. I don't know.
work, work. I lived
Um,
in Burlington for a few years. That's why I asked. I love the state.
Yeah,
that sounds like an incredible time. The Vermont
so
Queer
cool.
Arts Festival.
Vermont Queer Arts Festival. And I believe on Instagram they are at Vermont Queer Crafts. They have, I think, two yearly events. Um, I highly recommend it. If there are any listeners in Vermont, you should go to these events. They're really good. Then to answer, okay, what kind of stuff do I sell at markets? I would describe myself as a multidisciplinary artist, and specifically, I call myself a folk artist because I'm very interested in functional art and like making things that are like cool to look at, but also do something. So I make a lot of like, what do I make a lot of? I don't know. No, I do know. I make. So I've been doing a lot of like little painted things. Like I'll do like painted lighters, painted like little
Ooh.
tins. I have little sewing kits and little tins that I put together. And then as for like knitting, I make a lot of like hats, cowls. For the kinky market, I knitted a jacket. Um,
That sounds
but it's like
extremely labor intensive.
yeah, and that's why it's $400 and nobody has bought it. Um, yeah, because it was extremely labor
Mhm.
intensive, but it's a jacket, but it's also pretty and knitted.
I
So
want to
I
see this
Coquette.
now.
Coquette.
It's a coquette jacket.
Yeah.
okay, it is not coquette. It is like peasant girl jacket. Um, but yeah, I kind of I'm inspired by history and by folk art, but I also love like colors and textures and crazy patterns and all kinds of stuff. And oh, and I make dolls. I make Waldorf dolls. Um, so I make like dolls, and then I also make like mini keychain dolls for the Labubu people. It's like a more ethical, locally handmade Labubu situation.
What is a wall? Is it like that sort of like a porcelain doll? A Waldorf doll.
No,
I'm gonna
so a
picture.
Waldorf doll is a style of doll making that historically it was invented about 100 years ago, and it was meant to be kind of like a more simplistic and like handmade alternative to porcelain dolls that were like super
Oh,
like realistic and expensive. And so
yes.
Waldorf dolls are meant to be like it's meant for like children to be able to like project their own emotions and like onto the doll and like be more imaginative
Yeah. Yep.
with their play.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
there's also an emphasis on like natural materials, and I just have been in love with like the visual style of these dolls since I was a kid.
Mhm.
Like I always wanted them when I was a kid,
Yeah.
and I had one. Yeah, but then
So cool.
I've sort of taken my Waldorf doll making in slightly like my own direction because I incorporate more like upcycled materials into them. And I also do add more detail than you would see like on a traditional Waldorf
Yeah.
doll, if that
Yeah.
makes sense.
Oh yeah. This is so cool. I'm learning so much today. I'm loving this episode.
Well, thank you for having me. I have a lot of fun yapping. So, yeah, I'm happy to be here.
And then do you have any, besides the clown trivia and the markets, do you have any other events going on? Any performances coming up as well you want to mention to people?
Yes. So this Thursday, I will be performing in the open set at 9 Pin. And then on the 31st of January, I have two performances. I will be doing a pop up at No Fun at 8 p.m. for a fundraiser that's happening for Albany Food Not Bombs. And then at 9:30 the same night, I will be in the show at Ilium. So both of those are in Troy. And then I have one thing to announce that's a little bit secret. So it's actually not a full
Ooh,
announcement. It's like a little
a
teaser.
teaser.
But February 27th, I am having my first dance party in Troy, and it's for my birthday. So definitely save the date, February 27th at 9 p.m. And you should all follow me on Instagram if you want to see the full reveal of that.
Love that. That's so much
Yeah.
fun. Oh my God, I love Troy so much. I went to
I
high
love
school
Troy.
in Atlanta, so I like my little stomping grounds. Oh,
What's your favorite article to knit? Like, is there one particular thing you've
ooh.
made the most of or enjoy knitting the most?
I really like anything with color work, especially stranded color work or also just like stripes, because I really like working with color. I don't like anything that's one yarn all the way through because that's really boring to me. Um, but I would say probably like hats and sweaters um, are some of my favorite things to knit. But I also really like anything that's like a bulky yarn that I can knit up like in a few hours. That's pretty fun as well because I enjoy. I don't know. I like colors. I like textures, and I like color work because you never quite know how the colors are going to go together until you get there, and that's just really fun for me.
Love that. That's all the questions I have. Megan, do you have any more?
Yeah, I had one. Um, do you have any advice for any drag artists that may be struggling to find their identity? Because like I said, I'm pretty blown away that like you just gave birth to Ruthenia and she's fully fleshed out. Like that is a whole person, peasant girl doing her clown drag. Like that is all. Do you have any advice for people that are like struggling in a sense or might have a hard time bringing out what comes naturally to them for figuring that stuff out? I don't, I'm not, I'm kind of just throwing words around at this point. Is this making any sense?
Yeah, I think, yeah, no, I think it makes sense. I think that, first of all, like a year ago when I was just like thinking about the concept of doing drag, I
Hmm.
remember a lot of like a lot of more seasoned performers, if you ask them like how to start doing drag, they'll be like, don't do drag, don't
Yeah.
do it. It's super saturated and expensive, and you
Yeah.
shouldn't. And we don't need more drag performers. And at the time, I was like, okay, I hear you. And also, I have to do this. Like, I
Yeah.
can't not do this. I cannot stop thinking about this
Yeah.
until I'm doing it.
Yeah.
And so I would say, like, think about why you want to do drag. If you want to do drag because you think it will get you somewhere or like do something for you,
Mhm.
then maybe don't do drag. You should only do drag, in my opinion, if you feel like you have to do it
Yeah.
because it
Yeah.
is oversaturated and it is a lot of time, energy, money, and staying up late, frankly, which like
Yeah.
I love to stay up all night knitting in my bed. Being at the club at 3 in the morning is very different when you know you have to go
Yeah.
home and scrub a clown
Mhm.
face off. Like it is such a like big thing to do. So I would say like
Yeah.
yeah, only do it if you have to and you feel like you have to. But I feel like if you have that like internal like need to do it, I think the character, at least in my experience, the character will follow because
Yeah.
like the needing to do it is the character in there
Yeah.
trying to get out. So just like do whatever you feel like you need to do and whatever you feel like will make you
Yeah.
happy and don't worry about what other people are doing.
Because if I listen, if I were a season queen and someone's coming up to me being like, how should I get into drag? I'd be like, okay, like, settle.
Yeah.
But it had to come out of you. Ruthenia had to,
Yeah.
like, there is that, it is it would be sad to not have Ruthenia on the scene. That is how I feel after, like learning about you, like that you're bringing something that
Yeah.
is so unique, is so you. It's such a different, like, I don't want to say different voice, but like it is a different. I sorry, my brain is doing what it does, but it's really really cool. Thank you for your words of wisdom because those were pretty astute.
I have one more thought,
Yeah.
which for people that are not even just for drag, but like anybody that's wanting to get into doing makeup, because like
Mm.
I have only been interested in learning how to do makeup for the past year and a half, and like I didn't really know anything. Um, you are going to look bad. You
Yeah.
can't avoid that. You just have to
Mhm.
like you just have to like look bad so that you can look good. Um, and also I would say like get into skincare. Definitely like don't get into makeup until you have like a skincare routine because I feel like without having even like a very simple, I literally like I wash my face, I moisturize, but I do it every day. And it's
Yep.
like you have to do it every day because otherwise I think that drag would probably destroy my skin.
Yeah. Yeah. I could I'm pick my own skin would simply not make it. It's gotten so sensitive. The older I get, the more it's like, oh, actually, you thought you were just gonna have a light BB cream? No. Try some acne. You stupid bitch. Like it really, I feel that.
Well, I
Yeah.
think that is all the time for the interview, but thank you so much for joining today. Our initial guest could not do today. She had to work, but I'm I'm thankful that you were able to join us today for this segment on short notice. So thank you again. Where can people find you online? What's your website where they can buy? Um, let's make sure
So
you get all
I
those
have
shout outs.
Thank you. I have Instagram and TikTok are both at Yule.made. And then I do have a Ko-fi page, which I don't get a lot of traffic on, but that is where I have some of my like small products and commissions available. So for people that like don't know me in person, if you want to commission something, you can do so through there. And that is just ko-fi.com/Yule Made. Um, I am going to be working on an actual website this year. It's one of my New Year's resolutions, but kind of intimidating.
Well, thank you again for joining, and y'all join us for the hot topics coming up. Thank you again for listening to the Wave Your Flag podcast. We'll be right back. Welcome back, everybody. So, Megan, have you listened to Slater at all? Or do you know any of her new
I
songs?
I'm familiar with her. I like the vibe of what she does, and I know you are a fan.
Yeah, I
Big fan.
mean, basically, she's a Midwestern white girl who makes the loudest music known to mankind. And I think, first of all, loud music is needed in times like this. It needs to get the gays going. Something needs to energize us. But I want to say that I have been talking to a fan page, and this is going to get very parasocial, and I'm not going to give away the page, but I think this page is run by Slater herself. And the reason is because, but the reason I think it's a fan account is that, and I
She's
was
like,
like,
yeah, no.
and me still thinking this is a fan run account, I was like, this is a clip I actually took of the song coming out on Friday. So I leaked her own song to herself. which is so funny to think about. And then the response was, wait till you hear it in high quality. And I'm like thinking like, why did I not clock that right there? Because why would a fan say that? But like literally like these responses are literally giving it's like it's her. This was my review of the song up there. Because I was like, what if she sends a voice note back? Um, I don't even know
So
if I can't 100% confirm it's her, to
no,
be
of
clear.
course not.
Yeah, yeah,
Allegedly.
allegedly. But
All allegedly.
anyways, stream her song Dance. It is very loud, and the bass on the song is so like it gives you chills. I will just say that. And it's about tuning out the haters who don't want to see you dance. So I love it. I already streamed it 50 times yesterday. It's gonna be my song of the year, and if you don't like loud music, I can't help you. That's a you problem. And listening to country music
Yeah, I right now
doesn't do
in
it. I need,
2020,
yeah,
I say
go on. Sorry.
2026, we need a lot of BPMs. We need high energy. We need things that are keeping us up tempo because baby, anything slow and depressing, I will
I need music. I need music that's going to make my ears bleed. I need
yeah.
music that is going to force me to feel something because everything is so numb these days, and we've become so numb to everything going on. Like, people need to literally just learn to have fun, bring back club culture, bring back electric music, bring back dance music. Like,
Disco. Disco never
yeah.
died. That's my
Yes.
thing.
Well, this the song Dance is kind of like a mix between I would even say like dubstep, rock, electric, dance, hyper pop, like all of it. Um,
Wow.
and maybe kind of like a little bit of 80s grunginess to it. It
Interesting.
is a 4.5 minute song with like only three solid length verses. Like her voice is an instrument in the song.
Listen, you just sold me a 4.5 minute song because I love when people make songs that are actual, like more than just like
Oh,
two
a minute and a
minutes.
half intro, like talk about tension. Talk about
Yeah.
tension building.
Yes. Yeah.
Like, I hope if the song makes it to radio, they do not trim it down because I know when you
Mhm.
have a long song like that, radio loves to be like, well, we'll play it, but it has to have a shorter intro.
Yeah.
And it's like, no, that tension is so necessary. And the reason it's necessary is because the album is so high pace, loud throughout that in order to fully feel it, you need some tension there because otherwise the loudness will kind of get drowned out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's very well constructed.
Yeah. That there's a reason she made her album the
Yeah,
way she did it. Yeah.
exactly. And it's titled Worst Girl in America. And in all of the music videos, I'm pretty sure she kills someone.
Well,
So,
that alone, I'm gonna have to check it out.
iconic.
That's
Yeah, literally
um,
iconic to begin with. But
yeah.
yeah, so I'm excited for the album. It comes out a week before my birthday. I know, what a
Ooh,
birthday gift, right?
that
Like,
is really awesome.
literally. But I kept saying, like, because in the music videos there are like bunnies and like a lot of bunny ears. It's not like not like a cute bunny. It's like a horror murderous bunny. Like,
Naturally.
yeah, exactly. Like the image she is going for is so detailed and finely tuned, and I love it.
I
So
need
I'm
to check that
excited.
out. That's exciting. Yeah.
I do think it's clever because now when you search like worst girl in America, like her name's gonna come up. Like that is Genius
You
advertising.
just know some middle schooler got
Yeah.
told they were the worst girl in America and they're going home to be like, am I the worst girl in America? And they're about to discover
Oh yeah,
later to have their life
they're
change.
about to learn things about themselves. And I love in particular like she did an interview that said she's never went out of her way to cater towards the queer community. And I think that's very important to note that she's essentially saying she doesn't have to queer bait and she doesn't have to cater in order to have the audience that she has. And she's very appreciative that the queer community supports her art. And just knowing that is like I can appreciate because a lot of artists I feel do try too hard to cater to the queer community, and sometimes when you do that, honey, it misses. So I think that we're in for a really good treat with this album. I will say though, straight men can also definitely enjoy this album as well, because it's just so like heavy. Like the beat is so heavy that like anyone can enjoy it.
Straight men, we didn't forget about you because we know that happens far too often.
Yeah, bring back straight pride. Girl, Grinder would be crashing at that event. Anyway, that's all I have for today. Everyone, I hope you have an amazing week ahead. I hope if you have the day off that you're enjoying it, that you're dillying and dallying, that you're being weird and having some fun. That's all, and we will see you next week. Follow Wave Your Flag Pod on Instagram, TikTok, um, Spotify, YouTube, Apple Music, anywhere you listen. Links in my Instagram bio. Anyways, bye.